I am happy to inform our delegation, we only have one resolution to deal with in this session. I believe in my 15 years as resolutions chair, this is probably the only time that I've ever seen one resolution come before us. So that makes me happy. That just means everybody's doing their job. So thank you so much. And hopefully we can get through this one here. It's just good, you know. I feel good energy in here now, and that makes me happy. And I was so grateful for Mr. Reverend Bennett to say a prayer for us and get us back into one canoe and keep that peace. So that was Hawa. Anyway, Resolution Tribal Assembly 20. Wait, that's not me, that's Ben. So anyway, I want to call Ben up here. The resolution is 23-07, Memorial Totem Pole dedicated to the missing and murdered Indigenous women and people in downtown Juneau. At this time, I will recognize Ben Carnell to give the report from the Cultural Heritage Committee. The floor is yours, Ben.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, I'd like to acknowledge Ed Hodge. He was supposed to be up here. He's my close cousin as well as his daughter, Tasha Hodge. Could you please stand, Tasha? Along with Philip Cadiente in the back. I didn't see you earlier, Philip. Dion Cadiente Blattner, could you please stand as well? And last but not least, my wife Penny. She's watching me, and I get nervous when she watches me. I prefer to walk back, be back there. She always corrects me. She's very good at that. I love her. We've been married since '82, and I went for 3 years prior to that. I wanted to make sure she just wasn't using me. But back to the resolutions. Thank you. Yep. Maddie will put it up on the screen. You can follow along with me. Central Council of Tlingit and Haida Indian Tribes of Alaska, 88th Annual Tribal Assembly, April 19th through the 21st, 2023, Juneau, Alaska. Resolution TA 2307. Memorial Totem Pole dedication to the missing, murdered Indigenous women and people by the CL Tlingit and Haida Community Council. Whereas the Central Council of Tlingit and Haida Tribes of Alaska is fairly recognized tribe with more than 35,000 citizens, and whereas Alaska is marked 4th in the United States for missing and murdered Indigenous women and people, with the highest rate of unreported cases. And whereas the Washington State, with 7,400 Tlingit and Haida tribal citizens, is ranked 2nd in the United States for the highest rates of missing, murdered Indigenous women, people cases. And whereas the murder and the 3rd leading cause of death among American Indians, Alaska Natives, women, and rates of violence on reservations and in the villages can be up to 10 times higher than the nation's average. And whereas missing and murdered Indigenous women and people continue to be targets for violence, abduction, and homicide, and many of these people become invisible. And whereas in the conduct by Urban Indian Health Institute in 2017, more than 95% of murdered and missing Indian women people cases were never recovered by the national or international media. Only 1/4 of these cases were covered by the local, regional, or national media, which demonstrates a major lack of representation of this crisis and contributes to the insurance invisibility of women and people, including survivors and their families. And whereas Juneau is considered a top cultural arts destination in the world, with more than 1 million visitors during the summer season, provides an opportunity to increase awareness of this epidemic and the impact of our community. And Juneau has prominent influence on visitors who come to Alaska and learn about and experience our rich culture and land, which impacts the way our people in our state are understood by visitors, creating a responsibility for us to raise the awareness about this crisis and educate the visitors who come to learn and share with us. And whereas the totem pole dedicated to honoring the missing, murdered Indian women and people will serve as a profound and meaningful way to acknowledge our missing sisters and relatives, symbolize our efforts in ending the violence and attaining justice and creating awareness of this epidemic worldwide. Now, therefore it be resolved that the 88th Tribal Assembly of Central Council of Tlingit and Haida Indian Tribes of Alaska delegation convened April 19th through the 21st, 2023, hereby requests that Tlingit and Haida considers the commission of the totem pole to be carved and dedicated to the missing and murdered Indigenous women and people, and to be raised in Juneau. Be it therefore resolved, a plaque communicating the significance of the totem pole, including the statistics of the murdered and missing Indian women people in our communities, and educating the visitors that the violence is not part of our culture, would be placed at the base of the totem pole. Dated this day, April 21st, 2023, the 88th Tribal Assembly of the Central Council of Tlingit and Haida Indian Tribes of Alaska, certified by the President and Tribal Secretary. The committee recommends do pass. Thank you.
I would like to have one of our delegates entertain a motion on Resolution Tribal Assembly 23-07.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
It was moved by Richard George of Van Goon. We get a second, please.
Second, Stephanie Masterman, Seattle delegate.
All right, it was moved, it was seconded by Stephanie Masterman, of Seattle. Anybody want to discuss? If not, I am going to call
Question.
for the question.
Question.
The question's been called by Mr. George Van Goon to go ahead and on the edits of the motion, and that downtown on line item 51 will be struck in that place on Tlingit and Haida land downtown, and then line item 57 through 59 is struck as such. So I call for the question.
Question.
Question's been called. All those in favor of Resolution 2307, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Resolution passes. Thank you. Before I step down from the podium,
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. George, please.
I have a resolution submitted from Angoon. I'd like to, if you could suspend the rules.
Mr. George, I believe late resolutions will go directly to the Executive Council. Am I correct on that? Yes.
Okay, so I just hand it to you.
To Maddie, or to the Office of the President.
Okay,
Heather
thank you.
is over here, yeah. So, all right. All right, thank you. I would like to thank Ben for all of his hard work on one resolution, which was an extremely important one. And I believe I can't find my list of I had a bunch of paperwork up here of my committee members. Yeah. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir. Mr. Wright, please.
my name is Frank Wright from Huna. You know, this resolution that was just passed, you know, I think that it's a long time coming. You know, I've seen abuse of women. I've seen it myself, and I've seen women being practically ignored. When women are mostly who we are. I'm Nakhadi, my mom's side. That's who I am. You know, I'm tingling inside and I feel, I don't think we address this problem enough. But goodness, geez, for putting up that resolution. You know, one time I was, my daughter, she was just a toddler, and I made a mistake of raising my voice to her, and I saw the fear in her face, and it never ever happened again. Can you imagine what it's like when a man raises his voice to a woman? Can you imagine what it feels like? A man should never ever raise their voice to a woman. Goodness sheesh for this resolution. Goodness sheesh.
Thank you. Before I exit the podium, I would like to, if you can pull that down. I had it up here and I misplaced it. Our committee, I want to thank every one of them. So well, okay, we'll just go with that there. So on the resolutions, we have Marvin, if you can pull it up a little bit, Maddie. I would like to, on the resolutions, Marvin Adams, Jessica Dominy, Tasha Hodge, Karen Elliott, Jackie Johnson Peta, Paula Peterson. And so I would like to recognize them and thank them for all their hard work. And so, and to the rest of the committee chairs, I'm not going to go through all of them, but thank you for attending the committee on committee meetings and making sure that our resolutions were done in a timely process and a job well done. Thank you to you all. I will now turn the chair over to President Peterson.
Well, this brings us to everybody's favorite part of the agenda and having good of the order. I wanted to point out we could only have one mic. For some reason, with some of the reconfiguring of our audio, when we add the second mic back there, every time we tried it was horrible feedback. Also, as people start lining up for the good of the order, I wanted to also mention, today we recognized Val Hillman for 40 years. We have Desiree Duncan, who's in the room, has been with the tribe for 31 years. We have Alice Pagoyo, who's going to be hitting 40 years this year as well. What a testament to these ladies, but I think their service to the tribe. And it makes me thankful for them and just the staff that have been doing an incredible job. So let's give the staff a round of applause. And I just wanted to also recognize that our Small Community Council of the Year this year is Wrangell. Congratulations, Wrangell. The Large Community Council of the Year is Seattle. Congratulations, Seattle. Mr. Martin, would you be so kind to start us off?
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to congratulate you on having a calm and quiet General Assembly, Tribal Assembly. I appreciate all the work that you've done, on all the work that you're going to continue to do. And if anybody ever proposes that you have it as a lifetime position, well, I would certainly object. No, I would. I think it would be great.
Gonna cheese.
But I just wanted to say I appreciate everybody here.
Excuse me, Mr. President. Can I ask, we are in session, so while this is good of the order, please be quiet and give your attention to those speaking.
Thank you. But, I'm getting older now, and it's a little bit harder to get around. And I'm thinking about maybe bringing one of those scooters next year, but I don't think you'll let me run it on the floor, Ron. So, anyway, I appreciate all the help that you get, and I have considered maybe that this be my last assembly. But my mother always told me, when they don't want you anymore, they'll let you know. So, as long as all my friends here who are a little bit older than me, but get around better than me, I'll certainly keep trying and put my name forward. And if it's refused, well, that's the way it goes. But I'll always watch from online, and I will always forever support you in all that you have done. You've done a lot. You've done a lot for our people, for me personally, and I thank you. Goodness, Mr. President. Goodness, thank you all.
Thank you. Can we have a staff come and adjust the mic? You need to tilt the mic back, Rayanne, and use the handle. Tilt the microphone back. If you're gonna let it fall, thank you. That's why I want a staff person here to do it, because the mic is gonna drop. Ms. Villarreal?
Hi, thank you for listening to us. I'd like to make an announcement. We're the proud family of a newborn grandson. I brought most of his family here. We have a great-great-great-grandma, Lillian Hillman and Clarence Shakely. And Mary and I are a great-grandma to this boy. Ed Hodge and Janice are the grandparents, and my daughter Chris, and she's a grandma, and her husband Jeremy. And we have the rest of the family here, the Hodges.
So,
and the Hillman, Val, Veronica. He was born yesterday, and I'll let Mary take over and tell you the rest.
So Grace, can I ask a question? So this is Jill and Jacob's baby?
This is
Thank you.
Costin.
Yes, so Jill is a teacher at Hayukatangi Kudi, and they just had their baby yesterday. And these are the great-grandparents, and speaking on behalf of great-great-grandparents and grandparents and aunties, and it's awesome. So Mary?
Yeah, I'm Mary Lekanoff, and when Grace and I were first discussing Jill having a baby, Jill and Jacob, she agreed that she was the big great-grandmother, and I was the little great-grandmother, and I said, okay. But I wanted to add that it's our honor.
Okay, hi, Karen Dog. I'm one of the aunties, but it's an honor. The little guy made his way in, and his name is Jacob after his dad, but also Kurt after Louise's son, who passed away.
And I understand he will be known as Kurt, right?
He's going to be known as Kurt, and Jacob's already called him Curty Boy. So these ladies were nervous about coming up here, so they gathered all of us to help support them.
Yeah, and Nancy and Karen are both new delegates, and I was supposed to welcome them earlier, but I'm doing so now, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Well, I can't think of a more fitting good of the order than this news. Grandma Florence?
Good afternoon. I'm just so proud that I have a brand new papa. Yay, Trukanedi.
I'm the great-grandmother, and I'm so proud. If Ernie was here, he would be most proud. So I just hope and pray that he'll be the smartest guy like his great-grandpa.
So Valerie, you got a new enrollee. Auntie Val and Veronica, thanks for taking the time to listen to our happy news.
Well, congratulations. Okay, I'm going to ask that staff stay there to lower and raise the mic. If you turn it down towards somebody, it'll eventually drop and bust. So tilt it back and raise the stand. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I just want to
Your name and community?
say I'm Donna Ray James from San Francisco, originally from Craig. And my nephews are messaging me, sorry. I want to give a huge shout out to some of our navigators. Down in California,
Excuse me, Donna.
so many people.
Donna, can I interrupt you again? I'm going to ask a second time, those of you, we're still in session, so conduct your business outside. Please reduce your conversations and give your attention to the speakers.
Thank you,
Thank
that
you.
gave me a chance to catch myself. But we have so many people that struggle because they've been adopted out or moved out of Alaska. And I'm so happy to have the Navigator program. And I have to give a shout out to Rachel Langford. She was our San Francisco first Navigator. She did an amazing job. We just got our new Navigator, Savannah Silva. I'm already so excited because I'm already getting messages from some of the people that I have that have reached out to me for getting help. and she's already been successful on helping people. She's only been in there for a few weeks now, and we're already seeing success. Same with Shauna. Shauna from Craig Navigator, she's helped through when we didn't have a navigator. She was there if I had questions for some of our tribal citizens. And Caitlin Cook is like always right there when I have somebody. I know we had one from Haynes or Cluckwan that needed help, and I'm able to just tag those navigators. Jennifer Cadova James from Washington, I'll go and I'll tag one of them and let any of them know what the problem is for our tribal citizens, and they're right there to help. So I just wanted to say thank you to all of them. And I have Will Micklin, and I have Robin, and I have Lori, 3 of our delegates that are online and stuff. And it's been a little challenging, but we've really enjoyed it, and it's been good for us to at least have 2 of us here to be able to let them know what's going on. But I wanted to say thank you guys for being online. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to,
Name and community?
my name is Leona Santiago Cauque, and I'm from Juneau,
Thank you.
Elliott. I would like to say thank you to, I have relatives that work for Clink and Haida. Anthony Lindoff, also known as Kaguti, John Hawkins Jr., Kara Gilbert, Kath Cropley, Taja, President Peterson.
Jeez.
I just want you guys to know that I'm very proud of each of you. It's really nice to see young people around us. And I'd like to say, my son Kamal Lindoff, I hope he's on the computer. His name is Saka, and he works for Douglas Indian Association. And I'm very proud of him. But I'd like to say that I had all these nieces and nephews following me around when I first came here to Juneau, and everybody thought all the Lindoffs were mine. I said, no, I just have Kamal. So anyway, I just want people to know that I really treasure my nieces and nephews and their children. I'd also like to mention that I have 3 grandmas here. Kusine, Jackie Pata. She is named after my grandfather, Donna Walk, Jenny Marks. And I appreciate the hard work that she does. And then I found out just recently that Shirley Kendall is named after my great-grandmother, Jenny Clenot Shanakeek, and she was given that name before my grandmother left. So I went up to her today and let her know who I was. And it's really nice when you have people that are named after your grandmas. And Valerie Hillman is named after my grandmother, my dad's mother. So I treasure these people. And I'd like to talk about the MMIW poll. I've worked with families that lost their daughters, their mothers. In our family, we've lost one. And I really appreciate
the pole that will be going up. I really think that we should have a moment of silence for all those women and those men that are gone. I'm gonna cheese now.
Geez, how?
Ben Cornell, Juneau. First and foremost, I want to thank you, Richard, for your leadership. I can't tell you the number of years I've been in here and see the heated debate. But at the end of the day, we still left friends, regardless of the opinions one way or another. It's kind of like the basketball court, you leave it on the court. First of all, I just wanted to recognize you.
Geez,
And then for the good of the order, June 14th, the Hawaiians are coming at the outrigger. Some folks don't know that. I thought I'd let you know if you want to mark your calendar, the outrigger will be here. And then request that folks support Atlin, the Youngidee and the Crow tribes. It's the 28th, 29th, and 30th in the Atlin. And last but not least, in the boardroom, some folks know I'm with Gold Belt. We always start off with a full bowl of Snickers, nothing else. That's all. Thank you for everything you do.
Thanks, Ben.
My name is Bob Sam, Sitka delegate. I ask Ben Cornell to stand by me. Ben and I were born on the very same day. We share the same birthday. We share the same grandfather, Kauai. And we're standing together, Taku and Ak Kwan, standing together, hand in hand. And it makes me feel very strong to stand by Ben. But I want to share something about the good of the order. My first day here, I talked about the captains of the ship. Mr. President Peterson, President Bill Martin, President Ed Thomas, you are the captain of our ship. A captain of a ship has special powers, inherent powers. They are the ones that brought us to these shores back in territorial days, made sure we got here, provide us that we were safe on our journey, made sure we were safe. And when the captain of the ship says jump, we jump. We put our lives on the captain's, and many of our people conduct ourselves in a good way. I was heavily influenced by a man back in the territorial days from Sitka. He had the boat called the Guardian. His name was Paul Edwards, captain of his ship. He moved to Seattle, married a lady named Rose. He did not want to move to Seattle. He did not want to move to Montana. He wanted to fish for Sitka. The whole time he was in Seattle, all his crew was Sitka people. And all the people that he hired in Seattle, Sitka crew. So he was the captain, and he heavily influenced my life because his father was Clint Nady from Juneau. So I respect him. I respect all the presidents of Central Council because you are the captain of our ship. The other one that I really, really respect, and he's in this room today, who is also a captain of his ship. When I was a child, going to the movies, I couldn't sit in the white people section in the territory. There was a section only for Native people. But there was an individual there that made us feel welcome and even let us into the movies for free. And he showed us how to use the projector. And his father is a founding member of the Alaska Native Brotherhood. I would like to please, I want to say thank you to Jimmy Price. Jimmy Price, all these captains of their ship, all of our elders that are in this room, I remember when they were participating back in territorial days, and you're still here. And what I'd like to say to Mr. Martin and everyone, you are the captains of our ship, and just your presence alone, just by the fact that you are here with us, just touches my heart. Touches my heart, so your presence alone keeps me in line, keeps me calm, keeps my anger down, and you know I have that side, so I'm being very calm and collective just because you are here with us. So Ganeshtish for this time, and thank you to our elders and all the captains of our ship. Thank you.
Thank you.
Schachgen Yuchat Duasak. Stephanie Masterman Yuchat Duasak Daika Kainach. Wushkitan Ayachat. Duktingtan Yadi Duktingtan Dashkan Ayachat. Hunakawu Ayachat. Seattle or Duwamish and Suquamish Ani Yechat City. I apologize if I made any mistakes in my introduction there. My name is Schachken. I'm a former emerging leader and Seattle delegate. And my apologies, Mr. President. I don't mean to turn my back. I just want to face our delegation.
I understand, yes.
I just want to say, okay, wait, sorry. I introduced myself to let you know that my name is Schachlen, which is the name I carry from my great-grandma Margaret McKinley. I am the granddaughter of Hazel McKinley Hope and Tommy Dalton. I'm a granddaughter of the Duckdane Ton. I'm a child of German, English, Irish descent, and my stepfather is Navajo, adopted into a Duckdane Ton. We are a Huna family, Huna and Juneau, and I'm really proud to have sat with you this week. My mother is Pamela Dalton Stearns. And I just wanted to say hi if you're watching. I'm the daughter of a survivor, and I wouldn't be here today quite literally if she hadn't made the ultimate sacrifice to keep herself and her children safe. I want to acknowledge my Huna relatives who spoke up today when you said that you were shaking at the passing of this resolution. I've been shaking in my seat all week. I have been voluntold to run for delegate and carry on the legacy of my family and the work that my mom put toward the Violence Against Women reauthorization. And I want to thank all of our Violence Against Women Task Force leaders for supporting us and carrying on that legacy and showing up and doing the work that you do. And thank you to our Seattle delegation who encouraged me to put forth a resolution for the MMIWP totem pole, and Ganesh Hawa to the entire room for supporting that. That alone is healing for all of us, and I feel it deeply because just down the road is an area my mother had to flee for her safety. So I really, really appreciate that. On another note, my family, we just lost a relative, my cousin Richard Parent. He is the son of Lisa Brown, who is the daughter of the late Linda Brown and Robert Duncan Brown. So many of my family had to leave the village in Juneau and come to Seattle, and it's been hard living down there. And my cousin, he's the same age as me. Well, he's 28, I'm 27, but close enough. But we lost him 2 weeks ago. And I've been waiting for the moment to step forward. I'm sorry, I didn't really know how to do it in the right way, so I hope this is good enough. His burial is going to be next Thursday, April 27th at 2 p.m. in Lakewood, Washington. And my relative, Frank Lee, here let me know that Huna, they're doing fundraisers too to contribute to the burial. This is a heavy burden on our family, as you all have experienced, I'm sure, yourself. So I just want to ask very kindly and with so much love in my heart, if we would be willing to pass a hat and contribute funds so that my family doesn't have to take on this burden on their own.
Can I have two staff step forward with a hat on each side?
And if my relative here, Frank, if you want to say a few words and let them know what
And each staff start up in the front and just work back.
what work they're doing.
My name is Frank Lee. I'm a Chukka native, Glacier Bay. Chukka natives were mentioned a while ago.
Yes.
My brother Robert Duncan Brown is gone now, but he also has family. And Richard is Lisa's son. My brother Robert has 3 siblings: Lisa, Robert Brown Jr., and Bobby Brown. They're all grandchildren to Bobby Duncan. And like they said, they're going to bury him next week. I wish I could go down, but I won't. but anything you guys give will be appreciated. Thank you.
Gunashchish, Ixichan, Hawa.
Stephanie, if I can just say on behalf of the tribe, we're here for you. We lift you and your family and your loss. And I'm thankful that you stepped forward to bring and share this so that we can lift that grief with you.
Ganesh Chishawa, thank you, Mr. President. My name is Joey Kita, Seattle delegate and co-chair of our Culture Heritage Committee. Here's my co-chair, Karen Elliott Luth. We are excited to get back on to our biannual Southeast Alaskan Native Culture Fair. It's going to be August 19th through the 20th. Our mini celebration down in the Lower 48. We'd like to make sure that we are opening our hands to all of you to come and attend. Our first day is cultural classes, and then the second day we have our dance groups, and I wanted to make sure we send an invitation to our brothers and sisters here in Alaska. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I know we made this announcement. I want to take this chance to tell Valerie Hillman that I have a grandson now. His name's Alonzo, and he's 2 months old.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to thank your staff for all the support they give to us delegates with all the equipment and the voting practice and everything that we some of us struggled with, mostly Jerry Bennett. But I'd like to talk about some of my experiences. I've served on several boards. I'm a past A&B president of Camp 12. I'm a past president of Juneau Tlickenhaida Community Council. And one of the things that I say most often at our meetings for the good of the order is that we should always agree to disagree, but do it respectfully. I felt the tensions yesterday, but today I went around and shook hands with those people that I knew that that we were not on the same page.
I apologize, Mr. Jack, again. If you want to have the conversations, take them out of the room. Thank you.
I went and shook hands with people and gave hugs to people, and I said, just because we have a difference of opinion doesn't mean that I don't like you. When our meetings are over, we have our discussions, and sometimes it becomes emotional. But when we leave here, we can still sit down and have a cup of coffee and shake hands and tell lies about the biggest fish we caught, you know. But I'm very appreciative of you and your staff for keeping us supplied with whatever we need during the, it's been 4 long years since we've been here in person together, and I just love seeing all the people from as far as San Francisco and as far north as Anchorage. It's just so great to be back together with all these people that have been elected by their people to represent them. So Tlain Gunashish to Tlickenhaida, and I thank every one of you delegates for giving your time and your opinions and all your dedication for your people. Tlain Gunashish, Hawa.
Mr. Jack, I guess I have to take umbrage with your words because I spent a few days with you and you told me a bunch of fish stories. Were they lies? Mr. Price?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to say thank you to the Juneau Community Council for welcoming us to their community, and also to the TNH. I'm so proud of what the TNH has done here in this hall. This is just outstanding. This is just like any hotel in Seattle. Beautiful. The staff, all the employees at the T&H are so pleasant to every one of us, including the janitors. Everybody is pleasant, greets us in the morning with a cup of coffee and fruit. Thank you for the good fruit and food that we've had here. It's delicious. Wonderful, Richard. And I can't say enough about how good a job you people are doing. Hopefully, this will turn out to be something great for the future. Seattle did not want to disturb that. We want you to grow, and we want to grow. And we thank you for what you do for Seattle. You've done a lot already, Richard. And your staff has also done wonders for Seattle. Thank you so much, and thanks for this great convention. We did not need any dissension, plan on any dissension, but we're just trying to stand up for our people like you're trying to stand up for your people. God bless you. Have a nice trip home. Hope to see you next year.
Mr. Price? Jason Wilson with the Public Safety Department expects you to report to work Monday. I saw you on that equipment over there. You're going to show them how.
I'll be there.
Hello, Sandy from Juneau. My son Nathan Mitchell is coming home from Norfolk, Virginia. Has been a Navy SEAL for 25 years, and I've not seen him over 20 years. So, and Barb's gonna finish.
Wafal Gidak or Barbara Blake, Juneau delegate. My mom's really emotional because, as she said, my brother hasn't set foot back in Alaska in 20 years, and he's been a Navy SEAL for 25 of those years. He's now serves as a Master Chief in the U.S. Navy. Yeah. Hawagunishish for that recognition. We wanted to thank Tlingit and Haida and Sea Alaska and Ahtna Incorporated for nominating my brother for the military award at AFN this year, which he received. And we're so thankful he didn't get to come back to Alaska because he was just taking on his role as Master Chief when the award ceremony was taking place in Anchorage. But we finally get to acknowledge his service. He's going to be retiring. Hopefully he's considering moving back to Alaska, so if anybody has any jobs, let us know. But he's going to be returning with his daughter Izara, who is 16, his son Carter, who is 8. His list of achievements since he's been in the military is long and extensive, and I'm not going to sit here and read them all to you, but his 14 deployments were really hard on our family, and having him away, but knowing that he was serving our people and our country meant a lot. And we're just thankful that Tlingit and Haida continued to lift him up, even though he was so far away from us. And we're thankful for everything that we've received over the last 3 days. This is our first in person as delegates for me and my mom, and we felt really spoiled. So I want to say Halagunishish Shanan to the staff, to you, Mr. President, for running such a great assembly and for all of the love that we felt during this time. Hawa.
Halagunishish.
Well, first of all, Mr. President, I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here. Secondly, I want to congratulate you and the staff on a job well done on this tribal assembly. It was great to see so much take place in such a short amount of time. And I wanted to congratulate Maddie on the initiation by fire, seeing through all the changes in the rules. When I first read through them, I thought, well, that's going to take forever, you know, doing all those amendments. And needless to say, the delegates pulled together and made it come about, and through your leadership and providing words that make sense, really helped out. I also want to acknowledge, you know, your Everyday Heroes program and the Citizen of the Year. That was really a great event, and I was overwhelmed by the quality of comments made by recipients and their profiles. Probably as important, I was truly impressed with the young people who came and danced. I kind of was thinking maybe we should have that happen right during tribal assembly, but I understand the time constraints. I think that when we go through the generations, I am one that watches very closely at tribal assembly when we have new delegates. And I was really pleased this year to see that so many of our young new delegates, and some not so young, but new delegates stepped forward and offered good comments. Now, you may not have agreed totally with some of the comments, but my God, they did their homework and really made sense to the people that they're representing. I was wanting to take a few moments to just also talk about, you know, the opportunities that I've experienced in, over the years when I saw those representatives from Canada. About 2 years after I was elected president the first time, a contingent came down. I believe it was Dr. Soboleff and Judson Brown arranged so they can come down because they had been communicating back and forth. And I was really not sure what that was all about because I was not familiar.
Mic's back on.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Try that, President.
Thank you very much.
Can
Anyways,
you try not to cause another outage?
Is that 5 minutes? My 3 minutes are up. I was very pleased that these folks came down, and I was not familiar that we had so many of our tribal citizens up in Canada. And the old guy that stayed with me, he was nearly 90, or maybe he was 90. When they came down, they did not want to stay in a hotel. And so they had delegates that were from Juneau housing all of them. And I had one old gentleman, he said he remembered coming down the river, the Taku River, when he was a child in the spring. He did not remember going back up through the thing because they were keeping him protected and when they went over the rapids. I don't know too much more about that, except they were from Teslin and they came down just to see how we functions, and they wanted to let us know that they were part of us and they didn't want to be forgotten. And I really appreciate, the respect in which you brought in these our brothers and sisters from Canada right now. When I think about some of the things that our tribe has been going through over the years, I appreciate the opportunity to participate in your ceremony the other night and talk about Phil Bakershank and some of the things that he did for us and with us, as well as other tribes. So I appreciate that opportunity to talk a little bit about him. In closing, I want to number one say I'm glad everybody's here celebrating my daughter's birthday today. Secondly, I want to ask the delegates to give you a hand as this year you're going to get your doctorate degree, and that's very much earned. So please, delegates, let's give our president a round of applause, and please stand as he gets his doctorate this year. You may not all be up in Fairbanks with him.
Chief, how
Chief.
I have to say, when they told me about it, I said, aren't I too young? And without any hesitation, they said no. So, thank you. Mary?
Gwnaeth Chish, Nilkagoge, Yuchat Duasauk, Linget Kainach, Kagwantan, Kligushi Hit Klakwan. My name is Nilkagoge, aka Mary Marks. I would like to say this is my first assembly with my oldest son, Young Duin. It's been a pleasure to serve with my son on the floor, listened to the dialogues amongst our delegates, and come up with solutions and ideas, and to stand firm on our thought processes, but also having the negotiations with all of the rest of our tribal delegates. It's been a pleasure. I get a lot of questions of how did you do it, Mary? How did you raise your kids? How do they know our language and our protocols? It's old school. It's to sit at the elders' feet. It's to acknowledge the elders. When they would come in, when they would see their Auntie Florence, who has been honored here during this assembly, that they would run, I would scoot them, and all four of them would go running to their auntie. And they did that with a lot of their elders, and today they still have that same behavior, that lifestyle of when they see their elders, they go in and they go and hug them or shake their hands. So that's the secret. That's the secret that I have to share with you. It may be old school to some, but that's how we can perpetuate our language, our culture, our protocols, our names. And I want to acknowledge Paul Marks. I know he's back there. Would you please stand? It wasn't just myself. It took both of us to raise our kids. And my youngest son, Elijah Yanath Chin, was telling the elders that he's got a drug problem And they would look at him real puzzled. "Do, drug problem?" I said, "Yeah, my mom drug us to all of these functions." And it was also when they were young, when I was becoming politically involved, they would say to me, "I'm never gonna be involved in politics." And look who's standing next to me. Gwyneth Chish, Mr. President.
Sheesh,
Paul Marks, Juneau delegate. Just like my mother was saying, with the drug problem, I do the same thing with my daughter. And I thank you all of you for being so kind to her. It means the world to me. Sheesh.
Tlikakata u Kaintin Yuhatdosak, aka Jessica Elopre, Seattle delegate. I don't know how many of us that are not living currently here within Alaska have had a chance to see the Juneau Empire, either online. They had something that came out yesterday that was really sort of disturbing for me, and I'm glad that I had a chance to read about it, and then Vice President Sanderson had mentioned it as well. There was a house invocation with the native land acknowledgement yesterday, and it drew opposition. They had to have a vote on whether or not it should be included while we are here practicing our sovereignty. And it just blew my mind that there is still opposition to us being here, to us practicing with each other the governance of what we are here for. I know that many of us have had a rough couple of days, but like has been stated before, we come together. We might not like the outcomes, we might have hurt hearts or hurt feelings, but in the end, we are still family. We are still one. With today's passing of that totem pole, working together, all of us working together to acknowledge our missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, people. I know many of us have had family members that have gone missing. And like has been stated by some of my fellow delegates from Seattle, Seattle has some of the highest rates of those missing and murdered Indigenous women, and quite a few of them are our own people. So when we say together in one voice that we recognize them, that they're not lost, they're not forgotten, it brings so much hope and joy, and as Stephanie mentioned, healing. To my grandfather's people, Chukanadi, and the people of Huna, especially Frank, I thank you for your words and standing with us. I know I shared this with you. It meant a lot to know that we have strong, passionate men who are standing with us women. It means the world to know that we have these strong men with us. And speaking of strong men, yesterday we didn't get a chance. Yesterday was my mother and father's wedding anniversary. And so I didn't get a chance with everything that was going on yesterday to wish my mother and my father a very happy anniversary. And I know my father is watching, and I know how hard this is for you not to be here today for this tribal assembly, because you've been with us for a long time here. But I am so grateful that you are helping to keep the grandkids going, helping them to go to school. So to Max and Michaela back home, I love you. Auntie loves you guys. And to Liza and our newest grandchild, my mother's newest great-grandbaby, my father's newest great-grandbaby, Gemini Sophia, we love you. And I'm so proud of Eliza, one of our Seattle youth ambassadors, for becoming a beautiful, powerful, strong, matriarchal mother who is going to be raising her child with some of these same values that we are upholding here at this very tribal assembly. To my sister-in-law and my mother-in-law back in the Philippines, I lift you up. I know that your health is not good, Mama, but I love you. I know that you're not feeling well, but I love you. Sister, I'm sending you my love and my strength. To my darling husband, I'm here for you, and I will see you very, very soon. I'm going to sheesh Mr. President for allowing me to speak today.
Don't bend it down.
Hline di duasa Hyakstit Kagwantan Hyakli Te Hunyek Ayahat. Like to recognize our opposites, the Wishkatan, the Yanyedi, and all those of this land. Come before you at this time on Alquan land, President Peterson, the Vice Presidents, Tribal Hostesses, A&B and A&S Grand Presidents, A&S Grand President Emeritus, our veterans, our youth, and our elders, our clan leaders, and our visitors. There has been tears, there has been laughter, there has been strong words and gentle words that have come down like a rainfall on Alquan land. We recognize that and we see that. We acknowledge it and we continue to lift you up during this time as always. At this time, I'd like to take a moment, President Peterson, Gunach Shish, for leading us and saying that you would meet us where we're at. To all those who are online, to the other 500 people who work for the tribe that are not here, that are doing a really, really, really good job. Gunachshish, to the staff, to the kindness of everything you did to prepare this time for us. The people who picked us up on the vans and prepared the food and took care of our every need. You are the strength for us as delegates, as representatives of our nations, because you have cleared the way by taking care of us so that we could speak for our communities. As a Sitka delegate to our people in Sitka and all of our people around the nation, we do have many things that we will go home, many things that we still need to attend to take care of, such as our herring and our women and our children and our health care and many other things. We will go back refreshed, President Peterson. We will go back stronger, humbler, and with a clear vision. I believe that we're going in a good direction. I do see that brilliance. The shine is very bright in the room. I feel hopeful and faithful. But I would like to take a moment to acknowledge my mother, Harriet. She's with the Sitka delegation. Can you stand up, Mama? She's 90 years young. Are you 90, Mom? 89. Oops. Bill, can I go with you after this? Thank you, President Peterson. Achlein, Gunish Chish. It's been a wonderful convention, and every one of our voices do count for our people. We've got this. We can do it. We'll do this together. Gunish Chish for a wonderful tribal assembly.
Geez, huh? Real quickly, I want to let Stephanie know we collected $1,414 for you.
Albert Cake. We have a real life celebrity in the house, her and her boyfriend, Andrew. You know, I've been going after heron eggs for 46 years. I ran out of toes and everything like that and fingers to count how many years I've been there. But this year, on the radio, on the streets, the heron protectors are really growing a name for themselves. And it's really making the fishermen mad because even before I got over to Sitka, I heard through the chatter and on Facebook there's that crazy lady going out and setting trees there, and we're not going to be able to sit there. And Paulette does a really good job protecting our way of life there for us.
Crazy lady?
So her and her husband, or Andrew, do a really good job, and I'm really proud of them. And I'm proud to call her my sister there because she's standing up and actually walking the walk there and really fighting these people, and it's really making them mad there. So every time they see a tree there, they say, "Oh, it's that heron protector." So good job, and I'm really proud of you.
Well, we appreciate our crazy lady. Jeez.
I know my wife is watching online. I want to say hi and I love you, and my sisters and my aunties there, Auntie Nancy and Jackie Martin there. So, and I want to thank you, Richard, for what you've done with your navigators and the good staff work that we had all these last 3 days. I really appreciate it there. So when we open up our computer, you make us look really smart. Our staff makes us look really smart until we have to raise our hand. But thank you. I really appreciate all the help and the good food that we ate there the last few days there and taking care of us there. And, you know, today they're watching all these grandmas and the aunties and everybody come up here.
We miss your mom too, Delbert. Delbert's mom was a very long time delegate. We loved her very much.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean to do that.
No, it's a good son.
We used to have one of the biggest families in Cape. Now we're down to 2 aunties and 1 uncle there. So I thought about it, and I was pretty happy to see all those families coming up to the mic. So I thought I'd come up here and see if anybody wanted to adopt me. But I wanted to thank you again for your navigators. They're doing really good, and I'm really proud of my daughter Mallory there and my good friend Elaine there. And I thought if Elaine was listening there that we tell her that the plane's coming in to pick up Elaine there in Rangoon and lead the navigators on a walk. And Richard, I don't care if they call you doctor. I was standing right next to your mom when you're picking on her. You're in trouble, so you have to go out and get your own dinner. So now that I know that you're open there, you can take me to the hangar tonight. Thank you guys very much for everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Delbert. If anybody knows Elaine Jack, or Kukash, as you probably know, one of our navigators, she's really not fond of the outdoors. She said she won't even go on a picnic with her husband, so.
Thank you, Daphne Albee, Seattle delegate. We just want to, the Seattle Community Council would like to thank everybody who helped us raise funds for our scholarship. We have a 50-50 raffle that we'll be drawing. Also, we had another raffle, which also included the Alaska Airlines miles donated by Central Council. So, goodness, geez for that, sir. We'd like to draw the 50-50 right now. Oh, let's see. Well, let me give you some numbers. So for the 50-50 raffle, we raised a total of $1,509. Thank you. 50%, the winner will receive $754.50. Here we go. Hold your breath. Ooh.
No pressure.
Oh, all the pressure. I'm going to hear about it when I all right.
Go ahead, you want to announce it? I can't even read it. Oh, listen. Liam?
Because I don't write very friendly.
It looks like Liam Gustafson. It's a 206 number.
Is there a Liam? Okay.
Oh, her son.
Vashti's son.
Vashti's son. Thank you. We uphold our youth. Cecilia, can you give this to? Thank you. Next, we have the ticket. We'll pull the ticket for the airline ticket. We did have other items, and those tickets were already pulled, and the winners we will deliver your prize to you.
You ready?
A little to the left, I seen my name.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, yes. Dad.
Oh, Jake. Jake Kabog, you're the winner.
Okay, everybody saw that I did not pull this ticket, right? Gonna cheat. All right.
I'm going to say something.
Okay, wait one moment. So the Seattle, thank you to our delegates for announcing the Culture Fair that we'll be holding on August 19th and 20th. We will also be hosting a picnic, our annual picnic, July 15th in Edmonds, and we invite you all to come to that. And thank you. And then on a personal note, wow, I can't believe my dad won that. We're going somewhere, Dad. On a personal note, regarding my father and the announcement of the Master Chief earlier reminded me of this. My father is a veteran. He served 29 years in the U.S. Coast Guard. He retired as Master Chief. I would like to recognize him for his service. Yeah.
Madam Chair, while you're having people note dates for Seattle, put in your calendar September 1. That's barring any construction issues, will be the grand opening of the office in Linwood. So we want to make a big celebration. It's been a long time coming.
Thank you. I'd also like to recognize my Aunt Carol Williams from Saxman for coming up here and staying with us also. Thank you. And sir, I have one more. I would like to thank you for having the Alaska Native Brotherhood Grand Camp president Heather Gurko, and the Alaska Native Sisterhood Grand Camp President Emeritus Millie Schoonover with us. Gunachish, sir.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Cindy Peterson, Citizen of the Year. Woo-hoo! I just very quickly want to read off the prize winners. I'm not going to take much time, but you can meet me in the back in 10 minutes. Andrew Strobel, Junior, Donna James, Jones, Cheryl Dotson, Mary Lekanoff, Roald Helgeson, Cheryl Dotson, Arsenio Credo, Cheryl Fairbanks, Kara Meyer, Logan Law, Polk from Sitka, Helen Simpson, Kara Maya, Jackie Pata, Rebecca Estrin, Jones Williams, Jenya Garcia, Manny Elope, Richard Reinhardt, Ann Watson, Corey Mann, Roberta Dundas, Cheryl Dotson, Laverne Wise, Angel Brown, and Millie Schoonover. Meet me in the back in 10 minutes. Thank you.
Oh, she's a bossy one too.
Can I just grab it? All right, my name is Marla Spord and I'm from Sitka. Earlier we were doing introductions, so I wanted to get up and acknowledge my grandparents, Al and Pauline Duncan, my parents, Melanie and Clancy Board, and my family in the crowd right now, Jaylene, Sally, Lena, Walter, and Tom. Some of you might have snuck out real quick. My grandpa likes to say, "Gudach sewa au, shaguk haku a." Where did that person learn that from? Anu akawu sati. Was he born with it? No. No one is born with cultural knowledge. Knowledge is passed down through generations, and we can't forget to acknowledge it. No one is born with it. So to my grandparents, Al and Pauline Duncan, my parents, Melanie and Clancy Board, mentors, uncles and aunties, and family that are present right now in the crowd, Jaylene, Sally, Lena, Walter, Tom, Ganesh Chish for being there to hold and pass down that knowledge.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hey, this is Gil Stokes. However, Shada Shiks, Yuak Tuasak. Raven, Eyakat, Aknak Adi, Naktak City. I'm from the Koho clan. Lida Dex Iaksak. That came out bad, but it's my village, Kachanakwan Eyakat, Wrangell, always be Wrangell. See? I have my favorite niece beside me, right here, but they're all favorites, I guess. You know, it's very easy to be here, you know, after almost 4 years of isolation in cold Anchorage. But anyway, you know, it's really easy to be here because I feel real comfortable. I feel related to all of you. I do. I have no problem to say I love you all. It's biblical, of course, too. However, I will close by saying how much I think of this and how much I think of all of you. But at this time, I don't think it's too funny to say a joke, but I will say something. You know what has been said? It's hard to be humble if you're a Tlingit or Haida.
True story.
Finish cheese, Hawa.
Mr. President, Walter Hochschild, delegate from Anchorage. First of all, I got to wave at the camera. My mom's been texting me for 3 days saying she can't see me, so hi, Mom. Lori Klopley's my mother. She was a delegate out of Sitka for a long time, and she's been kind of texting me and guiding me as I go through here. For those that know me, this is my first time in person, but those that know me, one of my passions here with the tribe is ICWA and foster care and children in the system. So right now, if there's anybody who is or has been foster parents, if you can stand up, please be recognized. It is very important. So please, a round of applause. ICWA is critical for our children and our culture and our tribe. And without foster parents to take those children in, we don't have an ICWA program. So thank you for all those who are and have been foster parents. For me and my wife, we've been doing foster care for 10 years. We've had 12 different children through foster care. And on June 20th, we'll be adopting 2 girls. So we're very excited about that. But it's coming to an end of a very long and hard journey. June 20th will be 7 years, 3 months, and 10 days from when they first came into foster care. That is too long for any child, native or non-native, to spend in the system and not have an idea of where they're going to live permanently. And so I'm trying to do work, and I'm working with President Peterson. I took some time to go up to Capitol Hill and try to make sure that we can streamline this process and make sure it never happens again where a child will spend half their life, half their childhood in foster care. It's unacceptable by any measure. And I look forward to President Peterson. He's talked to me about looking at starting some group to support foster parents. I think that's critical. And for those that have the time and space in their home and heart, please take it into consideration becoming a foster parent. There are 2/3 of the children in foster care system in this state are Alaska Native, and they need Native homes to take them in. So please take some time to consider that. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Walter, if you'll stay there for a second. A couple of things about Walter. He serves in the, is it the Alaska National Guard? Alaska National Guard. He's a major there, and he's been in for quite some time. Also a former emerging leader of the tribe. So thank you for that. And for those of you who stood up, if you're interested, Walter and I have been talking and really talking about where we can do better as a tribe, and we want to put together a foster parent advisory group. So if you're interested in that, please reach out to me and let me know that, because that's something so important to me that we follow through. Walter said how long that he and his wife have been going through this, and it's not without its ups and downs, but he's absolutely right in that it's too long and there's too few foster parents. It's one of the biggest critical needs that we have are Native foster parents. So I commend Walter and his wife for that, and I didn't realize there'd been 12 children. I've always joked, I'm the only child of my parents, but I never knew it because they were constantly taking in kids my whole life. So I know what that, it's hard. It's hard on a family, and especially the unknowns and uncertainties of the system. So I commend you, Walter, and we will follow up. We will. Thank you.
Mayor Marino Suits from Anchorage, Tlingit Raven, Kinadi. Hello online, family and friends, as well as in here. How do I turn it around? So I have permission to speak on behalf of the Rural CAP Elder Mentor Program. Who in here, by raise of hands, is 55 and older? Oh my goodness, that's so wonderful to see. Rural CAP.
Sid, raise your hand.
Who in the room would like free travel to Anchorage in June? Who would like that when it's sunnier and warmer? So Rural CAP, if you would like to volunteer and help our youth, and especially our young ones, in any kind of program, they have free training in Anchorage in June. You can receive a small stipend, free rides, and lunch in your community. So you can learn in Anchorage and then go back to your community and volunteer with your young ones in And in your schools, Head Start up through high school, your A&S, your A and B, your Girl Scout, Boy Scout troops, your Clinton Haidas. So I sent the email and the QR code links to President Peterson. And if you would like the phone number, if you have a pen and paper out, the number is 907-538-2658. And the email is eldermentors@ruralcap.com. Gunachish, we hope to see you in June.
Mr. President,
Yes,
Helene Simpson, delegate from Ketchikan by way of Heidelberg. I'd first of all like to say many hawas for a wonderful, wonderful gathering this week. It's been so nice to see family and friends again, and thank you, Hawa, for all of that. Well, I was gonna do a few things. First, on behalf of my Jada Lisa Lang, kale juice.
Okay. These are the winners of the drawing, and then.
Okay, she's gonna announce the winners of her drawing, if that's okay.
Give me a second. I want to thank everybody in the house today. This is for the family of Miranda Adams, who had brain cancer, had surgery, had a stroke. She's my daughter's classmate, and she's in recovery. She needs help. So I raised money, and to all you, for all your good hearts, and all this. Louise Kettinger donated, went home last night and sewed a sea otter scarf. So we've got 16 prizes, and I'm not going to list off the prizes. You have to come and see me, and we'll mail it to you if it's not here. Thank you, Sea Alaska, for the silver bracelet. Thank you to the executive committee of Tlingit and Haida for the $1,000 that they donated to this, and it's in the drawing. Here's the winners. Oh, and baby Liam, half and half. He's battling Kadek. Sorry, I called him. He's a Kadek baby, and he's recovering from childhood leukemia. He's battling. He's a little warrior. We love him. Most of you have seen him on Facebook. Half of this goes to him directly. The family needs money. They need help. And I won't talk about the health care because I'll get fired up. But anyway, number one winner, we're going from the smallest prizes to the largest prizes. Ethel Adams, number one. We did an online sale too. Number two, Aurora Lear. Number three, Cher Keda. Number four, Millie Schoonover. Number five, Trina Coleman. A lot of island people. Number six, Felicia. You know who you are. Number seven, Carol Williams. Number eight, Karen Nathan. Number nine, Ozzy Shakely. Number 10, Carol Williams, again from Ketchikan. Man, she won another one. Number 11, Carol Williams. Number 12, Jerry Brown. Jerry, I'm sorry if I used your maiden name. Jerry Williams, sorry. Thank you, Jerry. Linda Carroll, number 13. And the really big ones are number 14, 15, and 16. And I have James and Karen Barnes from Craig. They're always supporting. Number 15 is some really crazy lady named Helene Simpson. And number 16 is an even crazier niece named Marcia Marie Mamaris. And I want you to know that the youth girl was the one who drew the drawings over here. I didn't draw them, she drew them out. Thank you for your big hearts and for giving back, and I love you all. Dondik Piadang.
Thank you for indulging us, Mr. President. Ketchikan did a raffle for some seafood also. But before I do that, I would like to introduce my nephew. He is the grandson of Viola Burgess and Jim Lockhart of Heidelberg, and Clarence and Anna Peel of Heidelberg. And it's Clarence Peel, he's our newest delegate to sit on our board, and I'd just like everyone to welcome him.
Thank you, everybody. Clarence Peel, Ketchikan delegate by way of Heidelberg. This has been an honor for me to be here, sitting with everybody, paying attention and learning what our ways of political and how we stand for our people. The reason why this is such an honor for me is I am a recovering drug addict, 16 years of active use, and 8.5 years of sobriety. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And what I could tell you is, in my active use, the amount of, or the darkness that you go in, I know where a lot of our people are at right now. The fentanyl stuff that is happening is, I can't explain. We just lost another one. You guys heard that yesterday. And it has been a great honor to sit on the board with the Ketchikan delegates, and I get to learn from them. It has been an amazing ride for me, and I look forward to next year also. Thank you. Oh, hi, Mom, Dad, Ted, Margaret. Thank you.
So we had our esteemed past president, Martin draw Joyce Alexander from Seattle. Thank you, Mr. President.
Next. Way up there. Keenan Sanderson, Ketchikan delegate. President Peterson probably knows from all the Pokemon we watch that when my hat is backwards like this, I'm pretty serious. Anyways, nobody got that reference, sorry.
I
Must be
did.
too young for that. Too young. Anyways, I just want to say it's been quite an experience for me, being my first in-person tribal assembly as a delegate.
Can I interrupt you? I'm going to remind our delegates yet again, we're in session, and good of the order is still an important piece, so let's give our attention. And if you have to have conversations and do raffles, do them in the back. Thank you.
Anyways, I just wanted to say it's been quite the honor and an incredible experience for me as a first-time in-person delegate for Tribal Assembly. I've been to a number of these before, both virtual and as an emerging leader, and just some in general as just a kid growing up. But it's definitely different being on this side of the rope or whatever is back there. You know, I don't know, Stephanie, are you younger than me? I'm 20, almost 26. How old are you? Yeah, I think I'm the youngest delegate here. And not that it's a competition. Anyways,
You won.
One of the things that I really want to emphasize, and this goes in a lot of different areas that I'm involved with. We did a lot of good work these past couple of days, but I think I really want to emphasize that by in no way in anything that we have approved or voted on during this tribal assembly, nothing's even close to being finished. There's a lot of work left to be done. One of the big passions that I'm sure many of you are aware of is my passion for fisheries and education, and a combination of the two within the state of Alaska and everywhere else. This past year, I mean, I'm relatively still getting into it, but between the Board of Fish and the North Pacific Fisheries Management Council and the Federal Subsistence Board and the Pacific Halibut Commission, I must have spent 50 to 60 days in Anchorage this past 365 days. It's a lot of time to be away from home, and it is a major sacrifice
to be a part of that. And my father, Rob Sanderson Jr., knows that very well. He's, he's up there just as much as I am with helping, trying to protect sovereign rights over traditional foods for all Indigenous people all over the country. And just like many of the issues, with the rules of election and the resolutions that we passed, I just want to emphasize again, the work is not done. There is still a lot of work left to be done on that. So I just want to put that out there because I'm going to continue, keeping myself accountable, keeping the rest of Ketchikan accountable, and you, Mr. President, of course, I'm going to keep you the most accountable. So thank you for that. And then one other thing too that I want to mention, I think it's appropriate this time, is that one of the big reasons, or I should say two of the big reasons of why I'm standing here today, is because of my father, Rob Sanderson Jr., and then also my grandfather, Rob Sanderson Sr., who recently passed away about a month ago. And I have said this a couple of times, but I want to say it publicly, especially to my father. Growing up with his tribal representation, both KIC and Clinton and Haida, there were some months where my dad was not home for 20 days out of the month. And I resented him for that. And mainly it's just because I didn't understand why he was gone for so long. But starting to get into, the political world with tribal politics or whatever, I'm starting to understand more and more on why he did that. He made the ultimate sacrifice to be away from me so that he can protect everybody else within our tribal community. And I just want to publicly state, Dad, that I am sorry for being a little poop head when I was younger. And appreciate all that you've done for me and everybody else. So thank you. And thank you to my grandfather for doing the same as well. Thank you.
I'm going to go out on a limb, and we won't search records. I'm pretty sure that was the first time poop head was used, but no. Pat?
Goodness, sheesh. First we had the tall guy and then the Minnie Mouse here. I wanted to say thank you to you and the executive committee for the work that has been done this year. It's flat amazing. It's beyond what we could have dreamed. And the staff was all there for you to make that happen. Someone chose that staff, and whoever chose that staff did really good. My name is Pat Roberts Alexander. I'm from Sitka. My Tlingit name is Kakaslatsin, and I'm from Kashaihit. I wanted to say my favorite line in this whole tribal assembly was Alfie Price when he said his title was Single Uncle. He has a way with words, that guy. I want to thank you for allowing me to serve on standing committees. It's a way to learn like no other. And I would like to say a special thanks to Maddie and to Valerie Hillman for their persistence and their excellence, their intelligence, and ability to just hang in there. It's amazing. And we are so fortunate. So thank you to all of those people, and thank you for allowing me to serve on the committees that I do. Goodness, geez.
Donna Ray, because you've already gone, I'm going to ask that others who haven't gone yet go first.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Dion?
Dion Kediente Lady, Juneau Delegation, Kaswoot. First, I want to speak to education and congratulate the tribe on receiving one of 5 compacts for the State Education Compact funding. And I had spoken with Rold a couple of days ago, making sure that we utilize those funds for a pre-K to 12 pathway for Indigenous education. And the work that we have is tremendous. And the reason it's tremendous is we have lost so many of our fluent speakers and our elders, and with them, our language and our traditional knowledge. And so the work cut out for our new educators is tremendous. And it'll take all of us to create educational systems that embrace our children and support their knowledge of who they are. And this is my son, Dak Nakeen. He is 21 now, and he is a former student of the Tlingit Culture, Language, and Literacy program. And I want to thank those of you who, after he spoke earlier with the Taku delegation from Canada and said, "Is that your son?" and congratulated me on having such a nice young man for a son and doing a good job raising him. And I said, well, it wasn't just me. He has aunties and uncles and grandparents and great-grandparents, and he had the gift of being raised by his great-grandmother too. Jagay Claw, my grandmother, Irene Kediente, passed away last August, and she was the rock of our family. And we greatly miss her. And she was one of the former fluent speakers in the TCLL program, along with Selena Everson and David Katzig and many others whose work is that we have to fill. And so I want to encourage all of us to work together and support the tribe and our other organizations in really supporting strong Indigenous education pathways. We have at Sealaska Heritage Institute $500,000 for Indigenous education scholarships, and we only have 7 applicants. 7. And so I want to encourage you to please have people reach out to us about those scholarships, because we don't want them to go to waste, and we really have a lot of work to do. With that, my son was doing a raffle, and you heard that mentioned earlier, and it was to, because this is important to him, to have a kuik for my grandmother. And he wanted to draw his ticket and do his raffle now. So, with permission.
Yes, absolutely.
Before I do that, I'm going to speak a little bit about my connections to most of you here, so that when I do this, you understand that you're supporting someone who's connected to all of you. I was in Sitka last week for the Kiksadi Kuik, and I want to thank the Kiksudis for inviting me. I also was there for the Herring Protectors, and a little of the history of that too is my grandfather's people, the Yanyedi, my copper shield here. That's who they are. They're my Dakanuku. They're my outer shell. They're my shield to protect me. And they're always there when I need them. But we used to have a strong herring run here in Juneau, in Auk Bay, and it was wiped out. And the Tlinkits over in Sitka are fighting for their herring run. And if that ends, a lot of our salmon are going to be gone. So I just wanted to say that foremost before anything, because I owe it to my grandfather's people and my opposites for inviting me there. There's also another thing, Mayflower Island in front of Douglas Harbor. We got 2 shaman graves there. There's a Coast Guard building on top of it, and I don't know if this is true or not, but the Coast Guard are looking at vacating the island, and the city is looking at taking it over. So this is traditionally Taku area in Douglas, and those are Taku shamans that are buried there. And if Clinton Haida could work with the tribes to figure out how to look at that island, how to take it back, this is something that I would like to see. But my great-grandfather was Akwan, Klainedi, and my grandfather is Yanyedi from Taku Kwan. I'm related to both of you. And so when we throw the Kuik, the money here is going to the Kuik, and it will go back to the opposites. It won't go to us. It'll go back to our opposites, our guests, and the guests are all connected. I lost my great-grandmother a few months ago, and I was standing exactly right here last time I saw her. And that's why I'm struggling to speak right now. This flower right here was from that, and I still wear it. She was there for my grandmother, my mom, and for me, and I owe it to her and for teaching me the Tlingit language. I went to Angoon under her advice to go to my uncles. This is the old way we used to go to our uncles. I went to Angoon to learn how it was done. And this is what I wanted to do. I talked to Frank Jim, the Takeaway leader over there for Klutit, if this was okay, and he gave me permission to start raising money. And so we're gonna throw a Kuik, and our opposites will be invited. But I also wanted to acknowledge all the elders here that have taught me, Lauren Shakely, and I wanted to acknowledge the Deshitan, my father's people, the Klainedi, my Dakanuku, and the Yanyedi, my grandfather's people. I was going to say something else, but I don't remember now. Akling Gunishish for everyone who donated money. The names on the tickets will be acknowledged at the Kuik.
One of our revered elders, Lillian Pardun.
I also wanted to, I think this is what I wanted to say. I'm also a commercial fisherman. I bought a boat 2 years ago from a Tlingit family in Yakutat. I fish it in Taku. I've been fishing for 15 years with my grandfather, who's Yanyedi, on the Taku traditional sites. I fish in front of one of the giants, they call it. I believe the name is Watsatse. But it's the story of the two Taku giants, and that's exactly where I fish. So I wanted to acknowledge the Yanyedis and thank all the Taku Kwan for allowing me to fish on their river for so many years, and I'm still going to fish there, and I'm going to acknowledge them all the time. Sheesh.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. I'm Selena Joy Kuklin, Seattle delegate. I am from Petersburg. My mother is Audrey Kuklin. My grandmother is Mabel Weekon Catlian, and I'm named after Selena James. I just wanted to come up here and say I am a 24-year retired Army combat medic. And I'm finally using my GI Bill money to go back to school and finish my bachelor degree. I will be attending remotely at University of Southeast Alaska, going for Alaskan Native Studies to learn our language, arts, and culture. In a few semesters, I'll be transferring up here and living here in Juneau. So I wanted to introduce myself to the Juneau, and I look forward to coming up here and living. I haven't been back living since I was a young child, so very excited about that. And my passion is addiction. My mother passed away 10 years ago, homeless on the streets of Seattle as a heroin addict, and all of us sisters have been disconnected from that because of her trauma. And so I definitely love that we're lifting that up, and it is a big concern, and I look forward to continuing to work alongside of you guys in any capacity that you allow me to. It has been an honor to be here for my first in-person tribal assembly. It's been beautiful learning and listening from all of you, and I appreciate everything. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Tasha Hotch. I'm an Anchorage delegate, and I have been here in Juneau for the last couple of months working up at the legislature for Representative Elise Galvin. And it's really been amazing to be back home, to see people, to enjoy activities, to see family and friends as I went to basketball games and gold medal and participated in activities. And one of the things that's been really tough is to not see some of the people who have supported me in my journey. When I first got involved with Clinton Height, I was in Anchorage, and I shared yesterday that I felt very unwelcome by the natives there. And it was the Marvin family from Hoona and his wife, Pat Marvin, from Angoon, that introduced me to Tlingit and Haida. And whenever I would come to town, I would see Wally Marvin, and that just hit my heart so hard when we lost him. I'd reached out to him a couple of weeks before he passed, and I said, "Hey, I'm in Juneau. It's still the middle of COVID," and I said, "Do you have a minute? Like maybe we could grab a coffee or something?" And he said, "Sorry, Tasha, I'm busy. I'm going to shovel driveways for elders." And I said, "Who's older than you?" He just always had a way that would make me smile and happy that I knew him. And then very recently, we also lost Pat Marvin. And the people you choose to be your family when you're away from your own family, the hurt is so different. I'm so grateful to be here around all of the people that I love and care about. I've always tried to make my home a welcoming place for when people are in Anchorage, because I know sometimes it's very hard to find a place to stay when you're there for things. I always tell people I have an extra bed, doesn't mean an extra room, it's just stuff in my room, but always find a place for you. And I'm so grateful, my friend Delbert. I reached out to him. Many of you may have known that my great-grandfather's brother, Joe Hotch, passed away recently, and they're doing his 40-day party tomorrow. And my dad took the Kidsey's guardian over and my niece with him to Klukwan to go do that, and we were able to send herring eggs with him because Delbert was really helpful in coordinating getting some here. I know that things were a struggle for a lot of people. And I just love that when things are tough, we can always reach out to each other and lift each other up and give each other what we need. And I just want to say, I'm so grateful for the opportunity to introduce some of the legislators that came down from the Capitol over the last couple of days. But I would challenge each of you to go up to the Hill and have them introduce you on their floor. They should be excited to be introducing us to the people that they work with. They know that we're a powerful people and we're powerful when we stand together, and we should be feeling like we're welcome in that setting as well. That they should be coming to us to learn how to collaborate better together. And if you've been watching what's been going on up there, it's entertaining, but very frustrating. And I think that those that said over the last couple of days that they've learned a lot from watching us, I think that that's true. So, Ganesh Chish, everyone, I appreciate you so much.
Thank you, Mr. President. Rob Edwardson, Juneau. I wanted to talk about a few things, but it's not going to take that long. The first is I'd like to acknowledge my wife. She's been sitting here in the back, or she's not there right now, but she has been every free moment. And we got married in Ketchikan a little bit over 38 years ago, 19 years old. Nobody thought we'd make it. Family members were taking bets in the back of the church about how many weeks it would be. And I don't know who's won, if anybody's won yet. But we're still trying to rig the game. And then I'd like to acknowledge my daughter, Nangjata Skudnai Kingangang. And Lauren's over there laughing. When Susie was a camp counselor, they called her Gun Gun. And she's also a Haida language scholar and teacher. My sister Linda Schrack, Skiljade, also a Haida language teacher. But I'd like to acknowledge my son also. He was here the first day and back. Yasti Iwans, Jordan Edwardson. And that's the end of the acknowledgements. The next thing I want to talk about is Mr. Marks. And Mr. Marks brought his daughter here, and it brought back a lot of memories, because when I was growing up in Ketchikan, some of my earliest memories are sitting under bleachers during events like this, and sitting in the back with people trying to keep us quiet. Sandy's brother, Vic, Sandy, my cousin. We grew up, I think, thinking we were brothers, and then we realized that we weren't after a while, and then we realized that we actually were after that. But all of us were there, and I love seeing kids at these events because it should be normal. As they're growing up, participating in decision-making for your people should be a normal activity. And I would like to see more of it. And I wasn't all that good of a kid at events, and I think I still turned out all right. But if you do bring your kids, actually when I was on the borough assembly, I would be encouraging people to bring kids there all the time. Because we need to see our kids grow up feeling comfortable in these environments. So that's my soapbox for that. And then the last thing is Mary was talking about growing up at the feet of your elders. And I was remembering Sandy's mom, my mother's sister, Frances Demmer. And if you don't know her, look around, because half the people who work for Clinton Haida are her granddaughters, like Heather and Jody. We got Barb over there. But they were a constant part of our lives. And we still have that opportunity for our kids and our grandkids to grow up at the feet of their elders and have stuff passed on and not even know it's being passed on. I used to bargain with my Auntie Fran for different kinds of goodies. I think I still owe her a pink Volkswagen. And at some point I'll pay up. But I just wanted to say those few things. There's still the opportunity to have people grow up at the feet of their elders. We should normalize children at these kind of events because it should be normal to them, this process as they're growing up. And then thank you for letting me acknowledge my family members. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Price, hold on, Sandrina. Mr. Price, I'm going to ask that you allow the others to go first, as you've already gone. And so I've had a chair put there for you, sir. I just want to recognize that, let everybody who haven't spoken to speak first.
Okay, I thought you wanted me to sit down. I was going to gladly sit down.
No, sorry.
No, I'm not here to speak about myself, Mr. Chair. First of all, thank you for being such a good president. I rise and stand here before you, and I first of all want to thank our wonderful and amazing staff for an amazing job, each and every one of them, from the people working in the lavatories to the kitchens, to everywhere, A to Z. And to our delegates, decisions are hard, and you know, like my son said, the work's not done. It's never done, and that will go on to future generations. So anyway, Mr. President, I just want to say a few words on my father. He was a big part of Central Council. There's names that are never spoken. He never really took credit for nothing. He never really cared about it. But sometimes I think he deeply, at times I thought that it bothered him a little bit, that he was never truly recognized for the work that he had done for so many entities and communities, and you know, the list goes on. Sealaska board member, he was a genius, considered by many a genius. Fisheries experts consulted with him. He worked with Dr. Steve Langdon from the University of Alaska, Anchorage. There wasn't a place in Southeast Alaska that he did not know about. He knew a lot about places that even in some residents in these places, he knew about that. He helped identify Sealaska's land selections. He identified over 1,100 sacred sites, 93 which belong with Sealaska. And I'm just giving my father his praise here. I want to give him I wish I could have publicly gave him his flowers while he was still alive. That wasn't possible. I think he skipped a generation and went straight to Keenan, but I'm really happy that Keenan picked it up because he really does really good on reading and understanding policy. But it's been a week, a month and a week since he's been gone, and when we left him on Sequan Point, I looked back when the graveyard crew was gone, and I felt a deep sense of sorrow because I felt like I was leaving him there alone. And it bothered me still, but it's all right. He's in a better place. I never really thought I would, because we had a strained relationship too, and he was gone a lot. But I had to understand the same thing that my son did, and I'm glad my son understands that now. We're in trouble, the state of the tribes, And I think of our younger leadership, the outstanding leaders, our young women that spoke yesterday, so eloquently, passionately. Andrew, Keenan, they displayed great leadership, no matter how it went. Amishiana, all of them, I truly believe that our tribe's in great hands going forward, and that makes me feel really good. I've been a delegate for 23 years, came in with you, President Peterson. At some point, I will step back. You know, I've already done that in a couple entities that I represent, not all the way up, but soon to be. And that was to give others a chance that have that education, and so they can utilize that education, so we don't lose them to somebody else, you know, because that can happen. And so, yeah, I just wanted to come up here and basically give my dad his flowers. You know, he's in a better place. He lost his leg at 91 and passed away at 94 and a half years old. And he lived a good life, a long life. He, you know, yeah, I could go on and on and on. And, you know, I paid tribute to him on social media and talked about things that he has done for my hometown, Heidelberg, which I truly love. And yeah, I'll go out on the record and say I may not live there no more, but that is my home. And when they're not in the Longhouse speaking at meetings, when it covers a broad area of issues that may include them, I fight like hell for them, as I do anybody else in every one of all of our villages. And so I'll leave you with this, Mr. President. He spoke highly of you. I want you to know that, and I've told you that on conversations. And I want to also publicly thank our president of HydroCorp, Sid, HCA, newly elected again. Congratulations. He was one of Sid's mentors too, and I was grateful for everybody that came to see Dad, you know, in his last year of life. And again, I'm going to leave here. There are so many people in this delegation and in our audience that, you know, pass their condolences on me and on to my son and different ones in our family. And so it was heartfelt. I'm going to miss them. Those are shoes I could never, ever hope to fill. They're too big. I just know that my son is going to do that. So with that, Mr. President, I love you. Keep up the good work. And I want each and every delegate in here to know that I love you guys. You know, I'm not that type of person. I'm more of a jokester guy, and I don't really take things too seriously. I remember where Delbert's sitting, but it was over here on this side where Mr. Bennett's sitting, and I used to be all fired up on things, you know, just wanted to go get white man, you know, and Uncle Bill Thomas, when he caught me, you know, getting fired up at KIC, and then when I joined the delegation, he wouldn't let me speak for 2 years. I had to sit over here and get him coffee and say nothing. And he would lay on his cane like he was sleeping. Then when Ed was doing resolutions, I thought he would be sleeping. He went, and pretty soon in the resolution is going, point of order, Mr. Chair, microphone. Him and Ed would go at it, and throwing Ed some love there too. But I just want to remember the greats that mentored me, you know, and it wasn't about, they didn't want me to go anywhere. They seen something in me, but they wanted to make sure, and I'm saying this because I want our youth to hear what I have to say, and I'm going to step back now, is that we have amazing, powerful young leaders in this room, and we want you here. I'm not old, but I'm not young. But I don't want to be here all the time doing this, so I'm glad Keenan's here, and Shawan and all the other names I mentioned, you know. I want to get out there and enjoy some things. Yeah, it was, back to what I was saying, is that to our younger leadership here, we need you, you know, I beg you. When you go out there and you get your education and come back and work for the tribe, but watch your delivery. You know, that I used to get fired up and thought I knew everything. And I came in and I was sat down by Cyril George, and he talked to me. Uncle Bill Thomas, Goop, all those guys, you know, the great ones, I called them. Even had the opportunity to talk to Walter Soboloff and Claude Morrison. I was the only one sitting in that room with them when Uncle Miju was in the hospital. We had 201 years of life talking to each other in that room, and I witnessed it and took pictures. So anyway, with that, Mr. President, thank you. You guys all get home safe and, yeah, thank you.
We have Juliana Smith online.
I'm Juliana Smith from Anchorage. Listening to all your stories, it's amazing. It's touching. Unfortunately, I didn't have that type of upbringing, but I do want to acknowledge the people that were connected to my family personally. John and Edna Fulton Abbott Sr., those are my grandparents. I had a stepmother, Margaret Abbott from Sitka, so this is from the Sitka area. Pauline Ann Abbott, her maiden name was Smith and Shakely, married to John Smith Jr. The first recognition I have ever learned about being a tribal, I'm a member of a tribe is when I was playing basketball for Hoonah, Alaska. This is back in the 1981, 82, and 83. We were champs. We were the best. But we took a trip to Angoon, and I remember dribbling the ball, and I come up to an opponent, and they go, "Hi, Juliana, I'm your cousin." And I'd be like, "Huh?" And I go dribble to the next person, and they'd be like, "Hi, Juliana, I'm your cousin." And so after the fourth person, I'm like, I go back home and I go, "Mom, what's going up with Dad?" I mean, I was dribbling and I come up to 4 persons in Angoon and they're saying they're my cousin. So she had to sit me down and explain to me about my culture, about the tribe and how the Southeast and so forth. And I had approximately like maybe 3 years to learn a little bit, but not enough to where it's rooted. But I am so grateful for this, for the elders that have anchored me down so that I am speaking their language. And when I go to speak to other people, that my words are identical to their words, because that's what it's about, is making sure, even if you hadn't grown up on your land, that you have those elders there to make sure that you are anchored and your children's children and so far are anchored down to our culture. And I have to say good excuse to all of you. I appreciate it. This is the first time being, well, I had the meeting last year, but the first time being here to learn all this and to hear your voices and your challenges and how you come together to say, hey, we need to anchor ourselves down here, and then followed by the roots headed out towards the other villages to make sure that we have our land anchored here. And I appreciate Mr. Peterson, the presidents and so forth, standing up and explaining to Seattle and saying, hey, I'm not trying to divide you. I'm explaining how this is how the foundation, how the tribal government is operated. And I think that's how we all need to learn, is how things are run as we are providing and being the voices of those people that have elected us to be heard. So Ganesh Shrish, and have safe travels.
Thank you. Joe?
Thank you, Mr. President. Joe Williams, Saxman. I want to acknowledge everyone that's in attendance here. But more importantly, there's several people that are in this room that are my favorite people. One of them just left. I'm sure she was aware that I was going to call her. That's my favorite niece, Daphne Albee. And also my favorite brother-in-law, her father, Jacob Kobog, and my favorite sister-in-law, Carol Williams, who married my brother, Bill. These are my favorite people in our community, so give them a good round of applause here. Mr. President, I just want to say how well-oiled this machine that you're operating today is, because when I went to register, I was there 10 minutes before 8 o'clock and it opened at 8. It was promptly, and that I really appreciate. And I just want to address the delegation here. If you didn't go on a tour, folks, you missed it. You absolutely missed it. There is so much that was shared with us. I went at 8 o'clock, or actually about 8:15 on the tour. We were done at 1:30. There was so much that Tlingit Haida is involved in, that you would stand today as I am right now, boastfully saying how proud I am to be a Tlingit Haida member just because of all the things that we're involved in. And that I'm really excited because there's some of the things that is being done today by Tlingit Haida I want to institute in our small community of Saxman. Addressing the younger delegation, I want to applaud you for your attendance. Please know that. And the intense times that we had in our discussion, what you've learned by your presence is respect that is given to one another. And this will continue because you're here. I have a challenge, our small community, and I'm sure not all communities are, but I have a challenge, and that is to find someone younger than 35 years of age to do what we're doing today. Can't. That's why I'm here. And it's really unfortunate because we should have someone here that is between 35 and 40 years of age, even as young as 20. Because you're our future, younger generation. You are our future. I understand that now when William Paul said, "He is our future. He is our future. Watch him." The younger generation is able to do something that I had not been able to do all my life, and that is speak my language. Why? Because I was prohibited from speaking our language. And didn't come till later years in life for me to learn that. And I promise you, I hear it, but it's really difficult for me to learn. Although I'm trying, but it's just not coming out the way I heard it as a young boy. Because the only time mom and dad spoke our language was when they were talking about something they didn't want us to know about, which was the norm. Please understand that. That was the norm. Because they didn't want us to get our hands slapped with rulers because we spoke our language, or our mouths taped because we spoke our language, or our mouth washed with soap because we spoke our language. That, younger generation, you will never experience. But to hear my parents' generation speak about that, I am excited that you're speaking it, and please, please continue. Learn more. I've heard it said, and I want to reiterate it, that is, language is the culture. So when you speak about your culture, make sure you know your language. So with that, I want to say in closing, and I've said this before, because the Tlingit says in closing doesn't necessarily mean he's ready to quit. I remember attending A&B conventions as a young boy, and we'd judge our speaker by the color of his hair. When a speaker got up and he had gray hair just like me, we'd say, "Oh Lord, we're in for a long one now." So with that, I just want to again reiterate, thank you folks very much for being here, taking time out of your precious life to participate, and doing this for our people. G'nachish.
Barbara?
Ganesh, President, I'm going to turn this way. My name is Barbara Dude. I am a Juneau delegate. This is my first in-person tribal assembly as a delegate, so I've been affectionately referring to myself as a Ricky delegate. So one, I just wanted to say Ganesh Chishawa to all of the delegates and staff who have been supporting me in my million questions. Second, I wanted to just recognize what one of the delegates, Walter Hodghill, mentioned about foster care in the child welfare system. Previous to becoming a delegate, I worked for the tribe in the child welfare program, and I just wanted to say Ganesh Chish for bringing that issue forward. Also wanted to just put a plug in for foster care. One of my former colleagues has been serving you all on the floor this week, Haley Terry. She is here. You can give a wave. Please reach out to her for more information about becoming a foster parent. That's my first plug. My second plug is since leaving the child welfare system, I've moved over to education. And so my second plug is to please read to your children and nieces and grandchildren. Sit down, read a book with them. And then third, most importantly, in all of my excitement for Lauren, I didn't get to congratulate Randy for running and the other two emerging leader candidates, but especially Randy and Lauren. They have been here in the back and on the floor, taking it all in. Like somebody mentioned earlier, everyone has sacrificed something to be here. I imagine it's approaching finals week for Randy as he's approaching his BA degree, and Lauren's taking time out of work. So I felt kind of rushed earlier, and so I just wanted to just publicly acknowledge the caliber of emerging leaders that keep coming to the table to run for that position. Just gets higher and higher, and it's really exciting. And it takes a lot to do it. My former mentors have said getting up to the mic gets easier, but they were lying. But here I am, so I will lie to you as well and say it gets easier and keep showing up. And just really wanted to congratulate the young people who ran for emerging leader, especially Lauren, who I get to auntie. So Ganesh Chish, President Peterson, and the staff are putting on an amazing and interesting assembly for my first time. Ganesh Chish.
I thought she went too far and it was just right.
Mr. President, Andrew Strobel, Seattle. I just wanted to take this opportunity to recognize the accomplishments of one of our own here in this body. I'm speaking of Michiana Elise and her work as a writer in the recent film Fancy Dance. I think it's important. I think it's important to recognize all of our tribal artists and what they do and represent us, not only here in this body, but to the wider audience outside, the wider world. This film was a Sundance film that got an award for the best narrative. Michiana was the writer associated with this, which obviously contributed towards that award. I just want this body to recognize that this film is out there, that they can watch it, you can stream it, and that we have a talented artist. That leadership means many different things in our community. It doesn't always necessarily mean political leadership. It also means how you represent your people to other people. So I want to recognize Michiana today.
Okay, we have a whole line of second goers, so Jim?
Yes, Jim Price from Seattle. Yes, Mr. President, I would like to thank you for the attorneys that you have put in Seattle for Indian Child Welfare Act. As you know, 8 years ago, I was trying to get my niece enrolled as an Indian. Her family, my niece, Tony Sherry adopted a child, which was a Tlingit Indian, but we couldn't get her enrolled as an Indian. We went to the government, state of Washington. We went to the BIA in Alaska. We went to Clinton and Haida. Everybody wanted to see the documents. Everybody made copies. After they made the copies, they couldn't take them back. We couldn't get them back. We had to make copies. We're going around and around and around and around. And all these years, they were messing around trying to prove that she was the Indian. And the BIA, the state of Washington, required her to prove that she was an Indian when she adopted that child. Well, she was an Indian. Well, now we have attorneys down there, thanks to you and your executive body. Thank you for that. But I'd like to say something about this child. This child is now 18 years old. She wants to meet with her family in Alaska. She can do that now at 18. It's in the court records. The family said that she could do that. Both families agreed to that. So she wants to meet with them. Also, Rebecca is a lovely little girl, lovely girl. She's been raised in a nice family Christian home. And every one of our family members love her just like she's our own. We love that child. And I'd like to say this, that she has an associate degree in college this year. So she's doing pretty good. We're happy to have her in our family.
Thank you. Donna Ray. I just want to ask our folks that have gone, this will be their second time we'll try to speed it up a little bit.
Donna Ray James, San Francisco, Clinton and Haida. I just wanted to tell everybody thank you for your participation in the raffle. I'm going to read the names real quick. Barbara Blake, Paula Peterson, Harriet Biela, Romay Edenshaw, Cher Kita, Helene Simpson, Karen Nathan, Michelle Demert, Vashti Demert, Joe Williams, Brenda Demert, Stephanie Marino, Mary Knudsen, Roberta Jack, Edward K. Thomas, Richard Reinhardt, Nathan Lopez, and Keenan Sanderson. Thank you.
Thank you. Pat?
Thank you. I'll be quick. This is Pat Alexander again from Sitka. I forgot to say the main thing that I got up to say earlier, which is how I do it. Sitka has had several clan conferences. I believe they call them Indigenous Peoples Conferences now. We've had inland Tlinkits come down to showcase their judiciary system. And I would like to see our Judiciary Committee go up and look at their system because it is a perfectly working Indigenous system. and we're going all over the nation. I think we ought to look at our inland relatives to really see how you can set up a fine indigenous judiciary system. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Marks?
Mr. Chief President, Achtuaskuin Ochtatan, Ya Kutia Datas Gachtutlayech, Ya missing and murdered Indigenous women, Ziagawa Wutua Ach, Frank Wright, long time coming away Awaka, Yewish Datuchwati Hatsu, Kuntauk Saya, Hasastu Satu Kuste, Ayai Datawa Hastu Eda Gachtu Ach, Yewish Datuchtitan. A while ago, we heard Frank Wright say this is a long time coming for our missing and murdered women. And for how many years their voice wasn't being heard, and now we're going to hear it. This is the way I'm feeling about it. We ha dakasling git ha khunki, hasu you ha in kawanik, we at yedki dad, hastu jin ashkishtin chak, shkayata kak, yuwe yan nakajin. Yat away yan khosi in hin, to yat away yan khosi in You mix it up, akawe kindech la hashnush, we yewe ha kosti ye, to hide yadki. This is my uncle, my mother's brother, Kaslet. He said, on this side, I take water and I take oil, and I mix them together. And every time I mix it, he says that oil always comes to the top. And this is the way our way of life is, our culture. Our children that have been gone missing, our women that have gone missing is like that oil. They always come to the top, and we're going to hear them now. This is the way I'm feeling about this totem pole. It's going to be like that oil coming to the top, and we're going to hear it. We're always going to hear them from now on. To ya committees, to adusa da yewuti, gunalchisha hatu yeyeti, gunalchisha. Thank you, all the people that were in the committees, and Mr. President, and everybody that was involved in putting together our assembly. Gunalchish ye kwasaka, gunalchish yewa.
Mr. President, Helene Simpson, Ketchikan delegate, thank you for allowing me to speak again. On behalf of Kyle Juice, my sister, she would like you guys to know they raised $2,330 for our little Haida warrior Liam and his Aunt Miranda. Hawa to all who donated, hawa to all who gave of their time, gave of their pockets, hawa to you all.
Barbara Blake or Wafalgirak from Juneau. Thank you again for letting me come up here. I forgot one important thing I wanted to acknowledge for the good of the orders. Yesterday, listening to Dr. Tina Woods really meant a lot. When she was talking about victim services and wraparound services for people who had been harmed. And I thought about what I had experienced as a newlywed and a mother to an infant, and how one evening I thought we were going to die. And after overcoming and stepping away from that relationship, and then knowing I needed help to do some healing, and living here in Juneau, when I reached out, there really wasn't a place. There wasn't a place to do that healing work. And I know that if there had been something like what Dr. Tina Woods is bringing to our people today, that my healing journey would have been so much shorter, that the fire and the rage that was burning inside of me because of what I experienced wouldn't have hurt so many other people in my life. And I'm so, so thankful for you, Mr. President, and for our Executive Council, and for everything that you guys are doing to ensure that that level of harm to our people is being healed, and the healing is taking place immediately, and the wraparound services that are taking place are happening in real time as people are being harmed. And I'm so thankful to know that our tribe is stepping up and filling the gaps where they see our community needs it the most. And so I want to say again, Hawagunashishinan, thank you so much for everything that you're doing for our community and for our people.
My mom go last on purpose.
Paula Peterson Cassan. I'm not a group speaker. I do fine in small groups, but I look around and see so many faces, I get upset and nervous. But I just had to say how proud I am of everybody that's in this room. And it takes all of us to get us to where we are. Not one person, not two people. It takes all of us to do this work. So I just wanted to thank everybody because it means a lot to me. But I do have to say something about my son. I'm so proud of him that he's getting his degree. When we moved to Cassan, he was 2 years old. There weren't very many people there. He didn't have kids his age. All he had was the elders. And I always felt so guilty that we lived there, and that's all he had. He would go from house to house to David and Annabelle Pills and Bill and Pauline Blackstead, and he would talk to them, and I'd have to go find them. They'd be telling them stories, you know, and so I always felt guilty about that. And as he got older, you know, he went to Mount Edgecombe. He got a full scholarship to Harvard. He didn't even tell his dad and I. Some kids at school told us, you know, but he turned it down. You know why? He wanted to come back to his village and work for his people. And he did. And he does. And it's from those elders that made my son, not me and his dad. It was those elders in our village. So I thank the elders out here, and I see the love you guys have for the youth, and it fills my heart because the youth are our future, every one of them. And to see little kids here, it has to be that way. They have to learn. When I was the administrator in our tribe, I let the women bring their babies. You know, it's how we are. But I just wanted to thank you guys for supporting my son and know that he does what he does, not for himself. Believe me, because I'm at home with him because I've been sick and he's been taking care of me. He gets phone calls every night, every weekend, and he doesn't turn them down. He gives everybody he sees his number, you know? So I just want to know that I'm so proud of my son. Thank you.
Okay, this will be the last one.
Excuse me, I forgot to acknowledge some people. The dog salmon, my grandmother, her dad was a dog salmon, and when she was born, there was a dog salmon house on Killisnoo where she was partly raised. So I just wanted to acknowledge the dog salmon. That's something I forgot to say earlier, but my grandmother was a Tlingit language teacher. She taught many different kids from many different areas, many different clans, and she always encouraged the young people to learn the Tlingit language learn the Haida language, learn the Tsimshian language. So keep encouraging your kids to learn their languages. Gunis Chish.
President Peterson and delegates, I wanted to thank you for such a wonderful assembly. I know we changed it from 4 days to 3 days, and there was a reason. It was cost savings and trying to alleviate the long days, but I just wanted to make a note for the record. I really appreciated the debate in the past about resolutions, and I think that when we discuss resolutions that we're all aware of what we are working collectively towards. And so if there is a way to bring back that healthy discussion and knowledge of what our resolutions are without adding too much time to the agenda, I'd like that to be taken into consideration. We have a lot of good initiatives that we're all undertaking, and it's good for us to know what we're working on collectively so we can support each other. Gunik Chish.
If I can have our executive council come and stand. Come up and join me. Our executive council, our new emerging leader. I had a lot of things I wanted to say, but as things happen, you change with them. We have 3 employees who just went up to Whitehorse into the interior for some meetings on behalf of our Guardians Network. And I'm going to forget one of them because she just started this last week, but Ralph Wolf, our Guardians manager, former executive council member. Heather Duville from Craig and our Naval Lands and Resources, and I don't remember Carly's last name, but we just got a report that they're stuck in an avalanche. And obviously I believe they're safe because they're able to communicate, but you know, those things really bring into perspective, and I just want to ask, and I don't want them to come up here, but if you would bring Brother Jerry a microphone, I'd ask him to provide a prayer for our staff to return home safely and all affected by this avalanche.
Might ask you to take the hand next to you again, if you will, and this is just to show we're in agreement with what the prayer is about. Father, we come today again in Jesus' name, and Lord, you're aware of the people involved in the avalanche, Lord, today. Thank you, Lord, that they're still with us, and pray, Lord of God, as other people would come and work around it, Lord, you'll guide everything they do. Father, let them be brought out safely. Pray for their family, their loved ones, Lord, that, Lord, you'll just let them feel your love, your presence, Lord. Let them feel, Lord, that they're in good hands. And Lord, you said we are in your hand. So today, Lord, as we lift them before you, we ask Jesus, be Jesus in each and every one of us. And Father, you've heard many speak today about those missing women, other family members, Lord. And Lord, we ask that you minister to them. Father, you know the situation, Lord, they've gone through, or where they're about they're at now. We ask, Lord, that they'll contact their families, Lord, they're still close by. But Father, today we thank you for today, for what you've done. And Lord, we continue to look to you to let your guidance be ours. Through the precious blood of Jesus Christ, we thank you, Father. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. As we prepare to close out, and before I adjourn and before the color guard come in, I would like all of our staff here to come in front of here in the podium. All of our staff, come line up. Hagu. Despite our colorful debates, sometimes hurt feelings, one thing I heard over the last 3 days was how good this tribal assembly ran. Look how many folks it takes to do it, and they're not even all here in this room. Right? One thing we're a strong and mighty tribe. And while we may fight because we're family, we love each other, right? We're strong because of who we are here, but we're strong because of who we are because of all those here making us strong, holding us up, making sure we're nourished, make sure we're get where we're going when we need to be. I want one person to stand out in the front. Sarah? She's really mad at me. Sarah joined my team as the director of the Office of the President. We've grown, and she took on the task of tribal assembly, and she had a lot of support from Heather and Maddie and others who had done it before, Rayanne. But really, I think if it ran so smooth, it was the organization, the calm. I always say the calm because she calms me down. She brings a calm to our staff. I also want to recognize Cass Cropley and Kara Gilbert, who were the co-leads for the floor team. Let's give them a big round too. Kara, get out in front. You know, a common thread among these folks is they don't like recognition, but they love being behind and doing the work. And I think that's their calm and they're cool, and doing this was pretty incredible. I can't name everybody here. I mean, I almost could, but I still can't. I used to know every employee, and now it's getting hard. But we have an incredible team from transportation, from IT to the food. How about Chef Noel and his team back there? I just really can't tell you how much I appreciate our staff and our team. They really do go above and beyond. They worked crazy hours this week, providing from the banquet and that turnaround to the tours. And I'm really sad for anybody who didn't go on the tours, because I think it's pretty incredible what we have going on. And, you know, we want to, if you're in town and you're able to stop by, give us a heads up beforehand. We'll try to make sure you at least get to see some of it, because it's really incredible what's happened through this pandemic. Modestly, I really do think that Tlingit and Haida has come through this pandemic far stronger than when it went in. And we were already a strong and mighty tribe. We have a legacy of being a strong and mighty tribe, and I'm humbled and honored to be a part of holding that up and keeping that tradition going. I just, you know, I would be remiss if I didn't comment on the debate the last couple of days. And I really, I'm sorry for hurt feelings. I'm really sorry for those who might leave feeling bad, but don't. This is our governance, and it does work. And you know what? We love each other and we'll fight, but you know, you heard it over and over again. We'll leave friends, even if we have to say we're sorry, even if we have to acknowledge some hurt. We're growing and we're a stronger, better tribe. There's no doubt about that in my mind. We're going to meet our citizens where they're at. And I continue to hold that up. And I'm really excited, and we've been needing this for a long time, to have a constitutional convention. We're evolving and changing. We need to change with those times. We all need to be a part of that. That shouldn't come from my office. That should come from all of us. That's the important thing. So I want to say that, you know, I gain my strength from all of you, and I feel emboldened and stronger because of all of you. You heard the very last comments were about resolutions. That means people care. That means that they are invested in their process and they want to be a part of that process. And I encourage that. We're not trying to stymie that, I promise you. When I put out a proposal, I expect you folks to work it through. I don't expect it to come through looking like it did when I proposed it. That's not my intent. My intent is to try to, as a leader, put some proposals, put things before you, and let you work on them. If anybody walked away feeling like that wasn't the process, good, let me know. How do we do better? We have to do better every day. My goal in life is to do better today than I did yesterday, to do better tomorrow than I did today. That's who we are. We come from the most beautiful culture, the most beautiful peoples on this planet. You know, I always say it, and you're hearing more and more people say this. Our people, historically, were not survivors. They were thrivers. Let us be thrivers. That's my hope for each and every one of you. And so I appreciate just this whole process, and I love all of you so much. I look forward to where we're going. I look forward to meeting you where you're at, and I want to hear from you. I want you to be engaged and involved. That's my hope. So with that, I'll go ahead and let our staff kind of disperse again so we can have our color guard come. I want to point out our staff put together dessert and snacks to go and containers. So when you do leave, please feel free to take some of that with you. I'll ask our executive council to stay here, and we'll have our color guard come and take the flags, and then we'll adjourn. We'll have our judge do it Monday because the schedule is a So when our color guard's ready, I'll let them. Lauren, come down this end. Try to make room for the color guard. Just make room for the color guard to come up. Oh, am I doing something? Oh. So the color guard's gonna do that, and then. Okay. I want to thank our guard. I had a whole sheet I was supposed to share about the Polynesian Voyaging Society. I got thrown off there. We'll share all that information, but on June 10th, the Polynesian Voyaging Society is going to be here with the Hokulea. It's going to be the 15th major voyage in her 50 years of history. And the Hokulea is the Hawaiian canoe that the trees came from Prince of Wales, donated by Sea Alaska. And we always want to recognize the elders that were involved in that. Judson Brown, Ernie Hillman, and Byron Malott, and many others helped that happen. And so it'll be an exciting time. We'll be sharing a lot of information, and they'll be visiting. They're going to circumnavigate the Pacific, but they're also going to hit many of the communities. I know Yakutat, Juneau, Ketchikan, and others. And so these will be big events, and we will do our best to keep you all informed. And with that, I'm going to turn to Jackie for the closing prayer.
Goodness, geez. You could all rise and pray in your hearts, pray in the way that you speak to the Creator in whatever language that may be. Hashagenya, the Kiankau, Hashagun, Hashaka, Goodness, cheesh ya yegi ka ya kusti hajit yiti hadu ya ke jasitan hashaguni hadlatsatini hatu ye nagati ush in ye janaktu ye yeit ush khede kunaktu ach ya yidat ya tlakat wutu adi au uhanha tuwasigu shagugu ade aklak kahas kwasatien hayi shaguni hash ushyak yadal lakat ad gunash chish hain inaste ne de yanagudi in gunash chish ho ho hashagenya. Our Creator, Heavenly Father, everything that we have been, are, and will be, our ancestors, thank you for giving us this day and this life. Bless us. We call upon our protecting power to instill in us the strength to do our work. Let's listen to each other. We who walk upon this land seek to learn the ways of our ancestors, to live in harmony and balance on this land. We are thankful. Be with us as we are traveling home. We are very thankful, our protecting power. Gunash chish ho ho.
And with that, I adjourn the 88th Tribal Assembly of the Central Council, Tlingit Haida Indian Tribes of Alaska. Go in peace.